Celia Kibler.
And I'm Dr. Kailey Buller.
Welcome to Raising Eyebrows.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Raising Eyebrows, my favorite place to be. This week, we're doing a really interesting topic that I am practicing. I don't have it perfect. It's really hard to get right. And the question is, how much authority and responsibility and autonomy should your children have at home, right? Like, who's really in charge? Because it should be you. You're the parent. But how do you balance being in charge with letting your children learn how to eventually become, fully functional adults? Like, how do you balance that?
Correct. And does it require you always bossing around your children? Because it's good to remember that kids, for the most part, are told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. They're like, and then they become more aggressive. They become more uncooperative because they're sick of being told what to do all the time.
And that's developmentally normal, by the way, right? Like the boundary pushing and looking for their own independence, that is natural and it's important, right? It's important for them to want that independence because they're going to need it eventually. But the challenge is figuring out how to still keep them safe while also keeping them emotionally and mentally and psychologically healthy.
Right. And a lot of it is, well, we want to give them chances. We want to give them opportunities. How do we go about that? And how do we do it while keeping our cool and creating a more cooperative environment? I work with parents to remove the need to yell. Do I say you're never going to yell? No, we're all human. Yeah. But when you create a cooperative, respectful environment, that's also fun. Kids want to participate. They want to cooperate. They want to volunteer. They actually want to do things. They don't want to fight you all the time. They want to ultimately help you to be proud of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. Who's in charge here? And it's not your kids. And why it's not your kids. Because they can't handle it.
Right. And that's exactly where we need to discuss, like, at what age do you give what responsibility and what decision-making authority, right? So my 3-year-old, for example, teenagers and toddlers, they do get choices. They should get choices. They should be in charge of certain things, but those things will be small and probably of low consequence, right?
And negotiable.
And potentially
they don't get choices for things that are not negotiable. You don't right. offer a 3-year-old, do you want to brush your teeth or don't you want to brush your teeth? No, you have to brush your teeth. Not a choice.
Yes. And sometimes you can spin those non-negotiables into 2 choices that are the non-negotiable, right? And I think that's the part that's challenging sometimes. Because like the classic would be, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? And if you don't choose, I'm going to, right? And I think that's a reasonable default to have. It's a reasonable default. You choose or I will choose for you.
Right.
And you give them 2 concrete choices that you're okay with.
And only 2.
And only two.
Let me reiterate that.
Yes. Because decision fatigue is a real thing for adults and it's definitely a thing for kids. They can't retain more than 2 options, right? So when it comes to brushing teeth, for example, with my 3-year-old, I don't even give her the, do you want to brush your teeth or do you want me to brush your teeth? Because if she does it, I'm going to want to do it. Like, cause she just brushes.
Right. You're going to follow
and then, up. Right. So I don't want to give her that choice and then renege on it. Right. So my options for her are usually, do you want mommy to brush first or you to brush first? So you really have to be creative and think these things through. And that's, I think, what makes it so hard is that if you just say something off the cuff, it could backfire so fast.
Yeah. And part of it is that proactive approach. Okay, we have to talk about brushing your teeth. You have to brush your teeth. What's a good way? Think of it in advance. How can I encourage her to voluntarily want to brush teeth? What can I do? And a lot of choice is the way it's done, like you said, but it can also involve, like you said, the thing that is non-negotiable. So we're not saying, do you brush your teeth or do not brush your teeth? we're giving her the choice on how we're going to
Mm-hmm.
brush teeth. It's
Yeah.
like, with my grandson, and when he had to go to school on a day I was taking care of him because he usually didn't. I took care of him, but this was an extra day and he had to go to school. And he was upset about going to school because he wanted to stay home with me. And I said to him, I said, do you want to go to school and I'll pick you up after lunch? It was child care center, not like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
high school. It's like 4.
Yeah.
And I said, do you want to go to school and I'll pick you up after lunch? Or do you want to go to school and I'll pick you up at the end of the day? The choice was lunch or the end of the day. But in order to agree to that choice, he had to go to school.
You had to agree to going to
Right.
school.
So the agreement, the
Mm-hmm.
choice, the choosing which one also included, I'm going to school. I'm going to school. And of course, he chose pick him up for after lunch. And we went to school very happily. We
Mm-hmm.
walked in. It was fine. Got a hug, got a kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I'd see him after lunch. And that's when
Yeah.
I picked him up.
Absolutely. And it could have been, we have to go to school, and I've done this with my daughter too. We have to go to school today. This is your job, and mommy has to go to her job, and daddy has to go to his job. What do you want to do after school when I pick you up?
Correct.
So it can, you can rephrase it, sort of redirect, but it is hard to think of these things in the moment, right? And so we'll try and give you some examples, certainly by age, but don't be afraid to use the same choice for the same scenario every time.
Right.
If you can't think of something else.
Yeah. And it's, like I teach time transitions for transitioning from one activity to another, which is probably the single thing that parents will say to me, oh my gosh, Celia, that was like magic.
Yeah.
I did it. I did what you told me to do. They did it. And what you don't realize is choice is empowering. Mm-hmm. Choice is giving them a lesson on integrity. It's giving them a lesson on responsibility. You made a choice. Now you follow through with it.
Yeah.
People are always like, how do you teach your kids to be a person of integrity? This is how. This is how it begins, even at a little toddler age. My grandson made a choice to go to school and get picked up at lunch, and there was no fight back because that was what he decided to do. Now he has to stand with that choice, and I do too. I picked him up after lunch.
And I was going to say, the way that we teach this to our kids, this is really important, is at the beginning, potentially, not necessarily, like some kids naturally listen to authority a little bit better, but in the beginning, they might push the boundaries, or they might have emotions about the boundaries of the choices, right? My daughter might be upset about going to school, and she might cry and she might fuss, but you then have to hold that line.
Right.
Because if you don't, then they're learning that the choices that they've made, the things that you've agreed upon, can be changed if they fight it.
Right. Right. You're teaching them how to respond. And they're learning that things that are not negotiable actually are negotiable because they just figure out a way out of it. And sometimes for parents, and I'll teach you guys how to do that time choice, that transitional choice, that is gold like magic. It's not magic, it's respect. Sometimes when we as parents give a choice for something that is non-negotiable, we don't even realize we're doing it. Like we'll say, okay, guys, you ready for a bath? Right. Well, that is technically a yes or no question. You didn't intend it to be. Everybody has done it at some point in their lives multiple times, but it is. So your child can respond, no, I'm not ready for a bath. And most parents will go, well, too bad, it's bath time. And when somebody asks you your opinion and they're like, oh, okay. And then they do the opposite. And you're like, why did you even ask me? Right. Don't even ask me. That's the same as that. If you tell your child, well, too bad, it's time for a bath. You just dismissed their answer. But you can turn it around and do better by saying, oh, okay, well, you're still playing. Would you like 1 or 2 more minutes to play? Not, okay, I'll give you 5 more minutes. That's still telling. But turning it around to empower them and say, would you like 1 or 2 more minutes to play? Now it doesn't matter that they asked no. You respected that. And now you're giving them a choice of when they want to stop. They're picking. 2 minutes, set your alarm, and
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. And I find this tough. And actually, I would love to get your take on this because I find that sometimes phrasing questions in a kind way or a nice, polite way can also sound like an invitation rather than a direction, right? So, would you please put your shoes on? They can say no. And then I'm like, oh, no.
Because that's a yes or no question.
Right. So how do you phrase it in a way where like, I don't want to say, go put your shoes on now, or I
Yeah,
mean,
that
I
is how you
could,
phrase
but
it. Time to
yeah,
put your shoes on.
right.
Let's go.
So
You
instead of
don't
like,
ask the question.
it should be go put your shoes on, please, rather than
Right.
would you please put your shoes on? Which
Exactly.
such a small, nuanced
It is.
thing.
But to a child, it is a question.
Yeah.
Will you put your shoes on now, please? No, I will not. Because yes or no. Can you go put your shoes on? Actually, no, Mom. I can't put my shoes on right now because I'm very involved.
I am not
in
capable.
lining my cars up in a row, and I've got 3 more cars to go.
Right.
And that's the thing. You have to make sure it is perfectly fine to give direction without giving a question. It is perfectly fine. It's time to go. Let's put our coats on. It's time to go. Grab your water bottle. Not, are you ready to go? No, it's time to go. This is time. This is 8:00. Time to go.
Right. And I mean, as Celia said too, like it doesn't have to always be a mistake that you can't get back from, right? So if I say, it's time to go, it's time to put our shoes on, and they say, oh, but I really wanted to do this, you can still say, oh, okay, well, we only have 1 minute. So do you want to take the 1 minute to do that? Or if that's not enough time, should we do it later after school? And right, so you can still give them what they want without losing that control.
Right. Or you can say, like you said, you can say, I forgot you wanted to do that. Let's put your shoes on, go do it real quick.
Yeah.
And then we're out the door. Because then the shoes are on
Already
regardless if they schlep or take too
And
long.
we do that all the time. And it's actually a reward system for our kids to get out the door on time. So we allow them to play, or we will do a makeup story with them because they love makeup stories. Or we will do whatever once they are ready to go in the morning. So once their teeth are brushed, they are dressed, they've done their tactical pee, we call it. They have to do their tactical pee. And if there's time,
TP.
then we will do these things. And so you better believe that they're record time getting ready for school because they want that time.
They want playtime. I always encourage parents, include playtime before you leave for school. Plus, if you're part of that playtime, it's nice to have that little connection before you guys go off on your day and you're not together.
Yeah.
And they love it. And if you're like, well, they don't remember it or something, have them pick out a game that you're going to play before they go to bed the night before. Okay, so we're going to play this game. That way, they wake up in the morning knowing that they get stuff done because they want to play this game that they picked out.
Yeah. And eventually it becomes a habit, right? Like it's routine and they know the pattern, right? So
exactly. And routines are another way you empower your children. They're not a thing. They are empowerment. Why? Because parents always get frustrated. I always have to micromanage my child. I tell them what to do. Tell them what to do. But when you stick to a structured routine, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and when those steps are followed every day and eventually mastered, then you no longer have to micromanage them. They know what's next and post it. So if they say, okay, I'm done brushing my teeth, what should I do now? You can just refer them to the little sign so they also get in the habit of looking at it so they know what's next without asking you.
Yeah. And remember to praise them for the things that they do, even if they're super small. And actually, this is one of the things, and I don't know if we've talked about this much already. I can't remember. One of the things that I talk about in my book is about responding to your child and praising your child when they don't need you, right? So if they're playing quietly and not having a tantrum, try very hard not to just be like, oh, good, they're entertaining themselves. I now have time to go do the things I need to do. Spend 30 seconds with them and say, you're playing so well on your
Thank
own.
you.
Look at what you're doing. This is really cool. Wow, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to come back and see what this puzzle looks like in a few minutes, right? Whatever it is that they're doing on their own. Because reinforcing the behavior that you like is
Right.
going to be really important. And also,
And you're going to see more of that behavior.
Yeah, because I'm sure, I'm sure everyone, all the adults, even in your job, right? Like you do a great job and you don't get any praise for it because it's just expected.
Right.
Right. And sometimes it would be nice for someone to say, I see you, right?
In your relationship too, with your partner.
Yeah, right. You're working really hard.
Recognize effort.
They're
putting in an effort. Recognize good. Like I tell, in that scenario, I'll tell parents, if your siblings are fighting, say you're on the phone and you've been on the phone for 15 minutes, all of a sudden 2 kids are fighting. What do? Most parents would get off that phone, walk in there, get irritated at their kids. Why are you fighting? Blah, blah, blah. And then go back on their phone call. When what should have happened is you were on a phone call for 15 minutes. They were playing great. You said nothing. You should have walked in. You should have even said, can you hold on a second? Walk in there and say, if you can interrupt the phone call, thank you so much for playing so nice together. I really appreciate it. I'm almost done my phone call. Let's play a game afterwards. Or if you can't interrupt your phone call and they're arguing and fighting and you now end the phone call, instead of addressing the argument, address how nicely they played so you could have this fifth. Don't even address the argument because, frankly, the argument is because they're sick of being together.
Yeah.
So do something different.
Yeah.
But address the positive part of that equation.
Yeah. You don't have to address every single negative. Right. And I would actually encourage you not to address every single negative. Kids are going to get things wrong. Kids are going to make mistakes. Kids are going to fight. They're going to do a whole lot of things. And if you're constantly harping on them, because that's what it's going to seem like to them, but all the things that they're not doing right, it's going to wind up being, a very insecure and, well, I mean, I can't predict what your child will turn into if that happens, but their self-esteem is certainly very much tied up in your opinion of them, right? In your approval. Yeah.
Right. And they actually do grow up feeling like the bad kid. Like you think of when you were a child and if you were yelled at a lot or reprimanded a lot, you actually grew up second guessing yourself. You grew up thinking everything you do is wrong and the opposite is nothing I do is right. Thinking I'm the bad kid, and you live up to that expectation because no one ever bothered to see when you were trying, and your child does much more good than not good. You need to see it. You need to let them know. And it's great to be appreciated. I work with couples too. And one of the biggest factors in the couple getting together and staying together is appreciation, is being recognized, is not feeling like they're invisible. Same with a teenager. Why does a teenager walk out of the home? I've raised 5 of them. Why?
Yeah.
Because if you ask them, they'll be like, nobody even cares I'm there. Nobody asks my opinion. I might as well be invisible. So they go find somewhere to belong because they don't feel like they belong with you. Start appreciating your partner, your children, and recognize the effort they put in to a happy home. They all put in effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how you're going to get the types of kids, the types of adults eventually who can take responsibility and are accountable for their choices. So you give them these choices, you give them this responsibility, and you empower them with more and more responsibility as they age. And every kid ages differently and every kid can handle different amounts of responsibility. You're going to know your kid probably the best, but then praise them not only for getting it right, not only for doing it well, but for trying, for almost getting it, for recognizing when they didn't get it right. Like give them
speaking kindly. There's all kinds of things you can thank them for.
So giving them that recognition then empowers them to try again, right? Empowers them to make the next choice. And that's how you build confidence and authority over time, right? The other thing, of course, like the flip side of that is when you see these parents sometimes who, like, I mean, they think that like the sun shines out their kid's ass, right? Like nothing they do can be wrong, right? So we don't want to swing all the way there. You still need to hold those boundaries, have expectations about behavior, have expectations about responsibility. but you don't have to nitpick all the time when they get it wrong.
Yes. Stop nitpicking. Stop like focusing on things that don't matter. Same with your partner. Stop picking on every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
You are not anyone else. Your children are not you. Your partner's not you. You are you. They are they. You will never see things exactly the same because it's impossible. They are seeing through their eyes and their ages, and you are seeing through your eyes and your age and your experience. And don't forget that a child's brain is nowhere near the capacity of your brain. So they're not a little adult. They can't respond to you like an adult. It's impossible. You are asking for the impossible.
Yeah.
So recognize the age, and they should be able to do things. And you want to encourage them. Help me cook dinner. Let's clean up the house. Let's fold clothes. Let's do these things. Let's play a game. We want to encourage kids to participate, but also recognize that if your child is 5 years old and they're helping you do the dishes, they may not do the dishes the way you do the dishes.
Right.
So don't criticize them. Just let it be done. And when they go to bed, you can fix whatever needs to be fixed.
And I think that's part of it, right? Let them be in charge of their own actions. And I think too, and I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but it's something that I do with my kids, is I let them have full autonomy over things with small consequences. Breakfast in our house is an example of that, right? We only have so many things as options for breakfast, but they are allowed to choose without our interference what they have for breakfast every morning. And then they make their own breakfast.
Love it.
So they have, and
Did they make you breakfast too?
They didn't. Well, no, but I don't really want Fruit Loops mixed with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Here's yours, Mom. You know, there's great things on Mother's Day.
This morning.
Here's your peanut butter and egg sandwich and slimy potatoes.
Right. But I have this little play kitchen that I got from Wayfair, I think. And then my husband cut a hole out in the sink and put like a jug of water with a pump. So they have a sink.
Cool.
In their little kitchen, and they have a little toaster. And then they've got their little shelves with their peanut butter and their toast. And they're like, so they have everything that they need. So they can put toast in the toaster, and they've got little cereal dispensers. They can put cereal in their bowls. And there's a little mini fridge in our kitchen island, and they have got their milk and their juice and everything in there. So they're capable of making themselves their breakfast, and it is messy. And when they decide that they want toast with peanut butter, it's a disaster, but they're doing it.
Right.
Right.
And they're not going to get better at it if they don't start doing it. You know, parents will always say, oh, I don't want them to help because it's so messy and it's more mess to clean up. They're going to be messy at 10 years old, or they're going to be messy at 3 years old. It doesn't but if they're messy at 3 years old, they're not going to be messy at 10 years old. And they're going to have a lot more skills. And at 10 years old, they can cook you meals.
Yep. And I think one of the things that this was somebody said this to me, and it was a great mindset shift for me.
Say that 10 times.
No, thank you.
Or we would say bad words.
When something happens, when your kids make a mess, when your kids are doing something, you want to give your kids some control, and you don't want to because it's going to be messy or whatever. Ask yourself, is this a problem or is it just inconvenient? Like, is this actually badness, or do I just not like it? Because sometimes, right, we're going to have to teach our kids this too. Sometimes people are going to do things that we don't really like, and we're going to be disappointed, or it's going to be harder for us. And that's disappointment that we have to work through too. And you can still say things like that to your kids without making it a big deal. Like, oh my goodness, look at this mess. Holy smokes. Okay, well, Mommy's going to have to help you guys clean this up. So can you please go grab the paper towels, or you can grab the broom. You choose. You choose which part of cleanup you do, right? And again, you're giving them the choice. Let's all clean it up together.
Right. Whoops, that milk spilled all over the floor.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Let's clean it up. It's a mistake. They didn't take the milk. Well, some of them might have taken the milk and poured it onto the floor. I don't want to say no kid will do that. But they have to get better, and things have to be, they have to be given a chance to try. Because when you give them a chance to try, regardless of the fact that there may be a resulting mess, You send them an indirect message, I believe in you. And you want your kids to always know that you believe in them. Always. They should know hands down forever through teenager land, high school, 20s, whatever. All my kids are in their 30s and 40s. They should always know, I believe in you. And when you say, oh, you can't do that, or here's a common one. You want you to get your shoes on. You're full circle back to shoes. You want them to get their shoes on. You don't give them enough time to build that skill. You don't give them 10 minutes. You give them 2 minutes. They're rushed and you say, oh, forget it. Let me do it.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. You are telling your child indirectly, I don't believe in you. You can't do this. I'll do it. And then you're taking away their want to be better. It's like, well, I guess I can't do this. So, mommy, you just do everything for me. Do we want to do everything for our kids? No, we don't want that. We want them to do for us. You're like, wrong.
You put my shoes on.
Right. Put wave elephant leaves in front of us. Feed me grapes. We want that.
Welcome to Parenthood, the place where nothing makes sense, everyone has conflicting advice, and nothing you do will ever be right.
Are you sick of feeling guilty about what you do, what you think you should do, whatever you're going to take someone's advice and you do that and that doesn't work, and you feel like everybody has a comment, everybody has an opinion, whether you want it or you don't want it? You open up the internet and all of a sudden the thing you thought was right was wrong.
But we have a secret for you. There's more than one way to be a great parent.
And we are here together working as a team to help you. We've created the podcast, Raising Eyebrows. And this is your weekly dose of sanity in a world of parenting clickbait. So
that's it.
The end.
The end. But seriously, well, and even just yesterday, I dropped Ellie off at school, and daycare, but we call it school.
It's okay.
And we got there, and I said, "Put your shoes on, please." And she kind of just looked at me, and I said, "Do you want me to put your shoes on, or do you want to put your shoes on?" And she said, "Mommy." I was like, "Okay, no problem. Give me a foot." And she gave me the wrong foot, and I was like, "That doesn't look like the right foot." And she's like, "No. This is the foot that I want in that shoe." I was like, "Oh, you want to wear your shoes backwards today?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, fine."
Love to do that. Wouldn't you think that was uncomfortable? But, they love to do it. So it doesn't matter in the long run of things. No. And it gave her a little power over her shoes being on. And like we had talked about before, kids will always test boundaries. Always. They're going to test boundaries. Don't think it's just a toddler thing. For the rest of your life, they're testing your boundaries until they move out onto their own. And you want them to learn to test boundaries, and boundaries will be flexible as they grow. Maybe their bedtime, they have to be in bed by 9:30 and there's a school dance. And they're going to say to you, can I get home at 10? And that is a half hour past their bedtime, which means they're not going to go to bed till 10:30 or 11. And you can say, you know what? Yes, this is a special night. But then you also say, if you want to hold to that 9:30 bedtime, you also have to say, yes, but after tonight, your bedtime is still 9:30. Because the definition of disappointment is unmet expectations. So if you're not letting your child know what to expect, you can't get mad at them if they have no clue what you expected. You have to be clear, concise, talk to them, give them direction.
And again, remembering that if you make mistakes, you are allowed to correct them in front of your kids. So
you're allowed to say, I'm sorry. There are do-overs.
Yeah. My son calls me out all the time because he's very literal. He's very specific. He needs his routines, etc. And so if I were to say something like that, and he'd come back and say, but you didn't say specifically this, right? And I'll be like, you're right. I didn't. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Let's go back and figure this out, right?
Plus, they're very black and white. I mean, they very much, what they hear from you, they do. if they can do it, if they understand. It's like, but of the problem that brings you to general requests. Clean up your room.
Right.
You say clean up your room to a 4-year-old, they look around, they go, oh, I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm just going to sit here and play.
Yeah. And I remember, so, and we, like, I think we said this, like this specific example a few times. I remember this as a teenager. Like, I remember, because I have ADHD and I was unmedicated at the time, and kids are like, they basically have that brain until they get older. And then if they have ADHD, they'll be like me, where like clean up your room. Like it was this monumental task that I couldn't initiate, because I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to clean up my room, then I'm going to have to get my laundry off the floor. But to get my laundry off the floor, I'm going to have to put it on the bed. But the bed's not made, and so I should make the bed first, and then I just went down this spiral. Even my room wasn't even that messy as a kid. Like, I wasn't.
Nothing.
Yeah, and then you freeze.
And how many times? Think of you as an adult. Everybody's got like a closet or a drawer or a room that's overloaded with stuff. And you walk in today, I'm going to clean this closet. Open the door and you're like, nope, no, I'm not. And you close the door and you walk away, and another year goes by that closet looks like
because it's overwhelming.
Right. Yes. Exactly. You have to be concise. And little kids that if a big kid gets overwhelmed, a teenager gets overwhelmed with the general direction, clean your room. Imagine a little kid who has only been on this planet for like a year or two, and you're saying, clean your room. Like, what the heck does that mean? You should be saying, put your books on the bookshelf. Can you take those shoes and put them in the closet? Can you take your dollies and put them on the bed? Good job. You cleaned your room. Now they're starting to learn what clean your room means. They're learning the step-by-step process that leads up to the general instruction. They don't automatically know it.
Yeah. And even like one of the things that I do with my kids too, and actually I suggested to my brother, because my nephew has really bad ADHD and he really struggles. And my brother doesn't understand that because he's got a perfectly normal brain. He can't comprehend it, right? And I said, okay, listen, when he has to go and clean his room, you might have to follow behind him. And I sometimes do this with my kids. Like, I follow behind with the toy bucket, because they will get distracted and forget what they're doing.
Right.
And then you are there as a constant visual reminder. Right?
And there's no crime in helping.
No.
And I tell you, if you clean a teenager's room, never know what you'll find. You can find some really good clues and stuff to things you've been wondering about.
Yes.
So also a little blessing in there. But it's important to remember that what you know and what you're experienced in, you know, and you're experienced in because you are so many years old. Wisdom, with age comes wisdom. Wisdom is experience. That's all it is. You have more experience than your 5-year-old, than your 12-year-old. They don't even have fully developed brains like you do. And you get overwhelmed. So how can you empower them? And maybe it's just like, you know what? In the morning, in your morning routine, we're going to fix our beds. We're just going to straighten our bed. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. Progress over perfection. And then at night, we're going to pick up our floor. If you get your children to incorporate those two things into their morning routine and evening routine every day, for the most part, their room will be picked up. Is it still going to get sloppy? Yes. Does it still need vacuuming and dusting? Yes. But for the most part, if they go for that routine addition every day, that's stacking. Okay, I got my morning stuff done, but I'm also going to straighten my bed. Okay, before I go to bed, I'm going to put my clothes that are laying on the floor in the laundry, my books on my desk. For the most part, it's like more manageable than if it just builds up and builds up. And that took all of 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to pick your battles too. That's the other piece of it, right?
100%.
So
100%. Not everything is an issue. Not everything is a problem. Then this is totally outside of our conversation, but when I got divorced from my first husband, the lawyer I chose was the one that said to me, I will not make a problem where problems don't exist. Can you imagine a lawyer saying that? I was like, you win. You're my lawyer. So remember that in parenting, don't make problems where problems really don't exist.
Mhm.
It may be a tweak. It may be something you can ignore. It may be a characteristic of your child. This is how they are. We're not all the same.
Mhm.
Celebrate their gifts. Celebrate your differences. Celebrate your same-multies. What's the opposite of difference?
Sameness? Similarities? Similarities, probably.
Similarity.
I'm gonna
Same-multies.
go with similarities for 200. Yeah, yes, right. And I think that's really important too. Is like when it comes to empowering your kids, the praise for the stuff that seems silly to praise them for is a big step. And then giving them choices to start with very small consequences, but then give them choices that have some consequence and let them live through their choices.
Right. Natural consequence. There are a lot of natural consequences out there,
Hmm.
you know, and they're very appropriate
Hmm.
if they make a choice and it doesn't work out so well. There should be a consequence. There should always be a consequence, but there should always be encouragement.
Hmm.
That's the difference. A human, no matter what age that human is far more motivated to do something through encouragement than they are through a threat or discouragement.
Hmm.
Super important to remember. If you're always saying to your child, if you don't do this, this is going to happen, are they inspired to do it? No.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, guys, if you get all this cleaned up, I'm going to set the timer. Let's pick up 10 things in 10 minutes. Ready, set, go. At the end of 10 minutes, we're going to run outside. We're going to go get some ice cream. We're going to go do something. Everybody pick up 3 things. Once you picked up 3 things, we're going to stop and we're going to go do something else. If you have 3 people in your house and everybody picks up 3 things, including you just picked up 9 things in a matter of 5 seconds. There's a lot of fun you can add into getting things done too. If it's
Hmm.
fun, you get
Hmm.
things done.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the things, if you have little kids too, one of the things that someone mentioned to me once, and it was brilliant, was making the toy bag or the toy box some sort of like hungry monster.
Oh yeah, I do that in my classes sometimes.
Yeah, they love
Oh,
it.
they love it. They'll pick up everything for
They'll
hours.
pick up everything,
Hungry
right?
man.
So if like,
He's
and
a
so again, and
monster.
if there's a way that you can turn it into a game, and same thing with brushing teeth, like go back to that example. Um, Sometimes the toothbrush is a laser gun or a machine gun, and I shoot the sugar bugs, right? Like, or sometimes it's right. I go pew 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 as
I
I'm
like it. Oh,
brushing,
it's
and
like Star Wars. So
they,
what was that? Space Invaders.
yeah, yeah, they think it's, and she thinks it's great. And I mean, I don't not work for every kid, but it might, and it might be
Yeah.
worth trying. And then
Games for the
it's
most part, fun, music, dancing
yes, way
always
better
works.
and more enjoyable for you as well than the fighting.
Yeah. You can do a freeze dance cleanup. So you put
Hmm.
on the music, start dancing, freeze. Every time it freezes, you have to put one thing away. Okay, here we go. We'll put one thing away. And they put it away. Then we dance again. Do, 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 do. Freeze. One thing away. Boom. By the time your song's over, you put like most of the stuff away.
Yeah.
And they love it. And they're not
Mhm.
like, oh, I have to clean up my room.
Right. Right.
Oh, I'll just play instead.
Hmm. Yeah.
Be creative, be fun, think of it beforehand. How can I make this better? Or reach out to one of us.
Yeah.
That's another option. We have great ideas, don't you think?
Lots of ideas. Some of them are questionable, but we have lots of them anyways.
That's right. Well, my kids have survived. They're still alive and they can talk about their childhood. So that's a blessing. And your kids will
Yes.
survive as well.
My kids will survive.
Yes, they will. And
They
so
will.
will yours, our listening public.
Yes.
We're watching public because they can watch us too. You
They
could be
can,
watching.
yes.
Yeah.
And again, as always, never assume that what we're telling you is in any way inferring that you're doing it wrong.
Oh, gosh. There's no guilt here.
No, we just are trying to give you ideas and suggestions and tips and strategies to make it easier and maybe make it better, make you better, make your kids better,
Hopefully.
right? But
Right.
I mean, again, like the fact that you're listening, if you've made it this far, you're committed. Like
Congratulations.
yeah, we know that you are invested, right? We know that you're doing a great job already.
Right.
So
Yeah.
praise for you. Praise
yeah.
for you.
Let's clap.
Right?
Round of applause.
Yeah. But
Yes.
really, and I think we should be again, practice what you preach. If you're going to be praising your children, praise yourself too. Good job for anyone who is listening to this podcast right now. Well done.
Pat yourself on the back.
This is hard.
It is. It's hard raising another human, but it's possible to do it in a wonderful way. And you don't have to yell all the time, and you don't have to be miserable, and you can actually have fun. Because why did you have kids? Didn't you think it'd be fun before you had kids? You can raise a child like you thought it would be before you had kids.
Right? Like
Because we're
my
always
husband was
surprised.
like, "Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, you're going to be teaching them how to play catch." I was like, "Bleh, we got some years to
Here's the
wait."
baby. Throw a baby.
Ugh.
Throw it.
But
Just take your
that
hand.
was what he envisioned, when we found out we were having a boy. Yeah, sure, you better teach our daughter how to throw properly too. I'll tell you that much.
My husband, well, my ex-husband, but the father of my children. I remember him when my son was born. I know it was when my daughter was born. She was first. And he's like, why does she always have to sleep? I'm like, well, because she's a baby.
Baby.
So that's what babies do. They
This is
don't come
normal.
out playing catch.
No.
They sleep. That's what babies do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's hilarious. But the point is, whatever you envisioned, even if it wasn't for years and years down the road, you can still have that. Whatever you envisioned having kids would be like, it's hard, but you can still have that too.
Right. You just have to know some skills. You don't have to listen to anybody that makes you feel guilty. This is not about guilt. This is not about being a bad parent. This is about wanting to be a better parent, which is why my company is beabetterparent.com, because even great parents want to be better. But it's about not feeling guilty. It's about, okay, if this isn't working, what could I do to make it work better? This situation really kind of blew my mind. I can't deal with it. My kid thinks they're in charge of the whole thing. What can I do differently to help them understand that we're team players here, and you should be a team player. Even your little kid should have a little bit of say in their growing up. That's why you offer a choice when things are negotiable. It gives them a little bit of say in their life.
Right. And while you are teammates, you are still the team leader.
Yes. They cannot be in charge. They don't have the brain capacity to be in charge. They do not benefit from being happy all the time. If you are working very hard to make your child happy all the time, you are going to raise a very unhappy adult because they won't know how to deal with disappointment. Exercise their disappointment muscle, exercise their waiting muscle. They don't get everything the minute they want it or when they want it or what they want. They have to recognize that things won't always go their way, but most of the time they do.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully this was helpful. It is something that takes a lot of practice, and it's something that you're not going to get perfect. And like I mentioned before, if you need to use the same two options every time because that's what you can remember, then do that, right? And then
Master
eventually I
that.
think it's something else. Yeah.
Don't have like a whole thing of like, oh, I gotta remember to do this. I gotta remember to do. And if you do something and you're like, oh, you know what? I set the timer for 5 minutes. I didn't do that choice thing of saying, do you want 2 or 3 minutes, like Celia said on the podcast? That's your brain remembering. That's a good thing that came up afterwards because you've put it in your brain and you will remember it.
Yep.
Don't be hard on yourself. And we both have books for you to read about. The Be a Better Parent app is downloadable in the App Store. Or, you can go to beabetterparent.com, get the membership, use the coupon code CALM, CALM. It's still active, I think. And we'll give you 50% off. And you'll have an app that gives you 24/7 answers that are cooperative, respectful, and easy to follow. That they're easy to implement. all backed by my over 43 years of experience, plus a lot of other great stuff in that app. It's like having us in your back pocket. So,
which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And
Yep.
if you like this podcast, share it out. You know, there's other parents that right now their 3-year-old is running their house. They're not doing things because they might have a tantrum. They're like, well, we just won't do it. They'll have a tantrum. Or every time they do something, they have a tantrum, then they just give in because they feel like I just need the peace more than I need to do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And sometimes it's okay if you just choose the peace, but eventually.
Eventually, you want to not do it every time, once in a while. But then again, like we say, be proactive. If there's a situation that every day you have to deal with it, you want to examine it. You want to look at what's happening and how can you respond differently so it stops happening. You don't have to deal with it every day. That's how you become proactive. And if you need us, reach out. We're both right here in our little rooms looking at you.
You bet.
On the other side of the United States. One's on this side.
I'm in Canada. I'm just above you. I'm just above you.
Right. She's not even on the other side. She's straight above me in Canada. What am I talking about? No, you're on the west. You're on the west. You're on the east.
I'm east. Yep.
East. Okay. So we're on the east side of Canada and the United States. So you can just make a trail right down for us. But luckily, we're available like this way, where you just get to see people in your glass magic computer. So,
Excellent.
All right, Miss Kailey, Dr. Buller. And I'm not a doctor.
You play one on TV. Anyway.
I do. I do play one on TV.
Thanks everyone so much for listening. And we don't know. We never know what we're going to be talking about. But it's always fun. So stay tuned. Make sure
and if you have an idea,
episode.
Message us. Say, please discuss this. I heard this on some reel. I've heard people talk about it, and I don't believe it to be true. Help us. So that's what we're here for. Thank you for listening. Share this out. Comment. Let us know what you like. And we'll see you on the next episode of Raising Eyebrows.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone. We're so glad you were here. Thank you so much for joining us, and we truly hope you'll be here next time.
And if you are looking for a little dose of sanity on any other topic, please feel free to let us know. Leave us a comment, and we will be sure to bust that myth too.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.